This is the first time I met Nathan. I must admit, when I first saw this video, I didn't quite understand it. Yet, I couldn't help but watch the whole thing. I had come to Chicago to study design, and though I was at the School of the Art Institute, I never considered art, much less being an artist. But there was something about seeing this video that ignited a spark. I never actually met Nathan that night, but I did remember the work. The next time I met Nathan was at the MCA, and I saw this. I didn't really understand this either. Frankly, I wasn't sure if I even liked it. Yet, I couldn't help but watch the whole thing. I never met Nathan that night, but I remembered the work. During grad school, my professor asked me to document his art installation at an abandoned slaughterhouse in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This is what I saw. As someone who was just getting into video, seeing this opened my eyes to possibilities I hadn't imagined. The way it was used as a set, as part of a performance, even the way it was edited. In asking my professor about who did the video, he mentioned some slightly hyperactive young guy named Nathan. I never met Nathan that night, but I did remember the work. Well, I finally met Nathan. In fact, he moved into my house, the large studio loft where I lived and worked. What was it like to finally meet, live, and work with Nathan? Well, let's just put it this way. This was one of the most productive periods of artistic development in my life, and it was no coincidence that Nathan was in the mix. I learned so much by simply watching Nathan work. Watching Nathan was a revelation. Whether it was a painting, drawing, video, or even music, Nathan always created his way into his art. He had a sense of fearlessness and willingness to try, experiment, and even make mistakes because in the end, he had complete trust in the creative process. It may seem obvious now, but it was a big breakthrough for me to realize that creating art is simply about creating. I guess it was only a matter of time before we embarked on a project together. It was the Chicago Art Department. The Chicago Art Department was born out of late-night conversations among new art teachers about teaching art. Nathan, our friend Mike, and I were interested in exploring what worked best. How do we motivate students? How could we get our students out of the classroom and connect them to the art scene we were participating in and provide them with real opportunities? now, 4 years later, the Chicago Art Department has become a place where we serve a community of new and emerging artists who need room to explore, experiment, and further develop their art, who need opportunities to share their work with the public, and who need a place to connect with other artists as peers and potential collaborators. While we have gone through countless ideas about what we would do at CAD, one constant for Nathan has always been making sure that CAD could provide opportunities for his St. Xavier students. Whether it was inviting them to exhibitions, participating in classes, creating joint projects and collaborations, or even giving them their own exhibitions, St. Xavier students have always been an important part of the Chicago Art Department community and its overall development. Nathan has been a great colleague and fellow collaborator, but in so many ways, he has been one of my favorite art teachers. Nathan approaches art like language, and he tries to talk to as many people as he can. To do this, Nathan has become fluent in digital imaging, video, sound, music, the web, as well as painting, drawing, photography, and even performance. The word collaboration has become a catchy 21st century buzzword, and to say Nathan is about collaboration misses a deeper point. Nathan makes art with people to connect with people. Art as social activity, and social activity as art. Nathan isn't just interested in what we put up on the walls of galleries and museums, but in the interactions between people that art and art making can create. This is what makes Nathan a great teacher. He truly enjoys getting people together to make and share art. But at the end of the day, what makes Nathan a valuable and necessary member of the St. Xavier community is his commitment to his students at 103rd and Pulaski. Nathan is committed to the development of his students as artists. He is committed to their growth and recognition as an art community within St. Xavier. And finally, he is committed to the growth of St. Xavier University as an academic institution in the city of Chicago and beyond.
I felt the most comfortable, I think, talking with Nathan about my art, and I think, he definitely, I'd say he had one of the biggest impacts on where I started and where I finished.
He made those classes interesting, not only for the art majors, but for the people that weren't.
And he always has so much energy, and he's always everywhere, and he's always doing something, and that perks people up, I think. And he's always, throwing that energy onto us, and then we perk up.
You watch him and the way he does trial and error. This is like, it's so simple, but it makes so much sense.
I'd say it was able to, help me develop concepts and stuff like that and be able to make my art sort of be about something.
Nathan kind of lives what he teaches.
And that's why we like him so much and as a professor, because we get that vibe from him, that we're not just a group of students, we are art itself, being developed.
A lot of the work that was produced in Nathan's classes seemed to have a more, they were more genuine, I think, and more of what the person would create, I think, innately or instinctively would come out.
He was always trying us to get out there, to look at other galleries, to look at art shows that were outside on the streets.
He's trying to make them see that Chicago's huge, man. You can't, if you're gonna live your college days on 103rd and Pulaski, you're gonna miss out on a lot of stuff.
He showed me that you can do your 9 to 5, or you can do whatever you do on the side, but you can make art, and you can make art that people will buy, make art that you can sell yourself, make art that you can make the world see through putting it on the internet, make art that doesn't even have to be shown by anyone, but can just be given to friends. And not even art as in pictures and stuff like that, but all the way to music and video and all of that stuff.
What would SXU be missing? It's like, man, I can't tell you what they'd be missing. I know they should be glad they have them though.